reward Mick Fanning with first priority now, and we'll have to wait and see how he opens up his account.
It's kind of a throw of the dice on just about every set wave. We've seen some of those lefts out the back opening up and really offering up some scoring potential and scoring opportunity. Of course, the tide is dropping, so things are getting a little more hollow out there. Let's see how Mick Fanning handles the left. Take it away.
Well, there you go. Two blistering off the tops from the youngster Mick Fanning out of Coolangatta, Australia, and unfortunately coming unglued on his third turn, but nonetheless, two nice off the tops to open this heat up for the current world number 5, Mick Fanning.
There he is, Mick Fanning, currently 5th in the world, highest career ranking last year, a 3rd. And Fanning, who knows what it's all about to make the quarters, semis, and finals, and what it's like to take home event wins here on the Foster's ASP Men's World Championship Tour. The top 45 surfers in the world on the Dream Tour. And today it's a little less dreamy than usual, Dino, but you got to do what you got to do in the conditions that Mother Nature and Huey serves up for us. So Mick out the back here at Bakio. 5.33 on the first one. I think he'll be happy with that wave to start off things.
Yeah, that was really nice surfing from Mick Fanning. Those first two turns were very committed and vertical, and unfortunately for him, he came unstuck on that third turn. Had he made that, he might be looking at above a 6 or a 6.5 or something. That was a great way to start this heat off.
Well, Victor Ribas starting off with a 1-point closeout, but still plenty of time left in this one. 26 minutes remaining. There's a winner of our last heat, current world number 5, Joel Parkinson, moving on into the quarterfinals. Victor Ribas, always full of surprises, Dino.
Wow. Looks like it's getting a lot more solid out there, Dave. That way, well overhead as he pulled in the barrel, and he tried to eke around that one, that little whitewater ball, and the thing came up underneath his board and caught him and just chucked him over.
Well, they do call Victor Victorinho, which means little Victor in Brazilian Portuguese, but that thing was still like triple overhead on little Victor, so probably double overhead on a normal surfer. Did manage to sneak into the barrel on that one. The barrels have been paying off rather largely for everyone out at Mundaka. Let's see if the judges are going to give as much points for barrel rides here in Bakio this morning. And looks like if Victor could have continued on and linked that little tube with another move down the line, that could actually have been a good wave score, as it is coming in the 4 to 5 point range. But you got to think that Victor will take that score at this point, 4.33 to Mick Fanning's 5.33. So I think it's on like Donkey Kong here at the Billabong Pro Mundaka Bakio 2006. Once again, plenty of questions coming in, so we'll just keep repeating ourselves a little bit. We are into the last 3 days of the waiting period. Well, here's Mick Fanning. We'll get back to our general situation in a moment after this one from White Lightning.
Well, there you go, Dave. Mick Fanning, opting to go on that way, probably in order to keep his rhythm going. Mick Fanning, a very rhythmatic surfer, seems to keep the ball rolling throughout his heats, catching lots of waves most of the time, and there he goes on that one as he makes his way back out into the lineup.
Well, let's hope for Mick and for Victor that they won't have to go anywhere near their 15-wave maximum that they're allowed in these 30-minute heats. That'd mean a lot of falling off for both these guys. You'd rather see them be patient, sit out the back, and wait for the good ones. Just a little close-up of the very bumpy conditions out here at Bakio this morning. Once again, we have had to move the contest site from the left-hander at the Mundaka Estuary River mouth here to Bakio. There's Victor Ribas up on the board, current ranking 28th, just one spot outside of requalifying through the WCT. His highest career ranking, a 3rd. That was back in 1999, the year that Sonny Garcia the year that Mark Akalupa took home the title. Sonny won his title in 2000. So Victor spent many years in the top 15 or top 16. His best ever finish in the top 3. Currently 28th in the world, but in the top 10 on the QS. So we will see Victorino back with us no matter what happens next year on the CT. And here he is live and direct and in action from Bakio. Dino.
Nice big carve off the top and blast that closeout. You know, that was a really committed second turn there from Victor Ribas. You know, we'll have to wait and see what the judges award that, but great surfing nonetheless from Victor Ribas as he slams that closeout Rio. You know, this is a very pivotal heat for Mick Fanning, and, you know, with a guy like Victor Ribas, you never know. This could be a really tough draw for Mick Fanning, Dave.
Well, Victor currently sitting 28th in the world, which if he didn't have any results on the QS, it would be a huge heat for him as well, because he'd want to move up into the top 27 surfers on the CT rankings who do qualify directly for the Foster's ASP Men's World Tour in 2007. But since he has qualified already through the WQS, he's 10th in the world on the QS. Here's his replay. He can kind of just cruise and really go big here in Bakio and try and be a spoiler for Mick Fanning. And let's see if he's managed to do that on this one. As judges' scores come in, it looks like this is going to be in the 6 to 7 point range.
Well, as you can see, the conditions, they are, you know, weather-wise, you know, deteriorating, but on the swell level, you know, man, how is that big blast close out there? You know, the waves are getting bigger. You know, you can see as the guys take off, the waves are well overhead, Dave, and as he slams that closeout, blasting the tail, you know, Victor Ribas, you know, he definitely put it on the line on that last turn, and we'll have to wait and see what the judges reward that wave. But nonetheless, it's going to be above average for sure.
The tide's dropping too, Dino, which is causing the waves to become a bit more hollow out the back. Yeah, that last one, good for a 6.4. You can compare that to the 5.33 first wave of Mick Fanning, where he got two smoking off the tops out the back and then went down on his re-entry attempt. And on Victor on that one just started off with a beautiful roundhouse cutback and then into that vertical off-the-lip re-entry. So a radical maneuver in the most critical part of that wave for Victor. Good for a 6.4. Let's go with his 4.33 little tube ride. That puts him in front, leading by a 3.23 on the two-wave total. Fanning was looking for a 5.41 on his last one. It comes in at a 5.17, so Mick still in second, still needing 5.41 on his next wave with 20 minutes remaining. Dino, this one far from over, but not nearly as easy for Mick Fanning as certain people may have thought it would have been.
Yeah, you know, these conditions are very unsettling. You know, you never know what's going to happen in these type of conditions. You know, as you know, just think if Victor Ribas would have made that tube. You know, he obviously came out of the barrel, and you know, had he have went around that section and blasted another lipper on his first wave, he might have been able to get, you know, quite a bit above a 4.33.
Yeah, Mick could be needing a 7 or an 8 point ride right now instead of the 5.41, but as it is, Mick looking for a 5.41, highly doable.
19 minutes remaining, plenty of time in this heat.
But we just need to see, once again, you know, huge tidal swings in this part of the world. We saw our highest tidal swings of the week about 4 days ago at Mundaka with a 15.5 foot difference between the high and low tide. As it is today, there's about a 13-foot tidal swing, somewhere in the 4-meter range instead of 5 meters, but still causing conditions to change literally every 15 minutes out here in the lineup, be it at Mundaka or at Bakio. Once again, we are at Bakio. There is new swell, but it's too much from a westerly direction. Mundaka really needs a north-northwest swell to perform at its best. There were a few lines out there at Mundaka today, but not enough for us to send heats out. So we have moved down the coast to Bakio, and we are currently out in the water with men's round 4, heat number 2. Mick Fanning up against Victor Ribas, 18 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. And still Dave Mailman and Dino Andino on the mic. Happy to be here, especially happy to be indoors and out of the rain, Dino. But playing the waiting game along with competitors in the water. 18 minutes remaining in this one. Fanning looking for a 5.41. And he really needs to move through to the quarterfinals in this one to keep his world title hopes alive, Dino.
Absolutely, and Mick Fanning coming off of a injury the year before last, he was out
of fire under his butt.
Yeah, he was. As you can see, he's looking for either a time or a score situation there. But nonetheless, Mick Fanning, he came back last year from an injury, out of the water for 8 months, straight into winning the first event of the year last year, and one of the 2 events he ended up winning last year. I mean, the kid's just relentless, and this year, unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to start the year as good as he would have liked to, but had he have done that, it might be a different situation here for the world title as we head into the last 3 events of the year. Because I can tell you what, after dismantling Kelly Slater in the last 2 semifinal matches they met up at, you got to think, Mick Fanning is definitely a guy to watch.
Well, definitely has a chance, but he first has to get through Victor Ribas in this heat to have any shot at the world title. And if he does make it out, he is going to come up against Joel Parkinson in quarterfinal number 1. And we know that basically Kelly has to get knocked out in the quarterfinal stages or earlier of at least one of the last 3 events of the season to give the rest of the guys any shot whatsoever at a world title, which would be a 4th for Andy or a 1st for Taj, Mick, or Joel. Haven't seen an Australian world champ in quite a few years, and of course those boys frothing as hard as possible to put an AUS next to the number 1 spot on the Foster's ASP World Championship Tour rankings, but one of them will be out of the race, Joel Parkinson or Mick Fanning, after their quarterfinal. And if Mick doesn't get a move on in this one, his world title shot could be over at the hands of Victor Ribas. Once again, Victor Ribas currently leading this one with a 6-4 and a 4-3-3. Still 15 minutes remaining. We're only halfway through the heat, and here's Mick Fanning. Must have had his ears burning listening to me saying he might lose here.
Oh, man, how are those 2 blistering off the tops from Mick Fanning there? Man, that first turn was on the open face. Big carving snap back into the pocket to set up that second closeout reentry, which he just blasted through that closeout. We'll have to wait and see what the judges award that, but you have to think that's well enough to be in the lead.
Well, he was needing a 5-4-1 on that one, and if you compare his first wave on the left where he had 2 big maneuvers and then fell and scored a 5-3-3, and Victor's roundhouse cutback to huge off-the-lip re-entry on his last wave for a 6-4, you'd have to think that Fanning's pretty close, if not surpassing the 5-4-1 that he really needs to take the lead back in this one with 14 minutes and 40 seconds. Here's the replay, Dino. Why don't you walk us through it? That's a solid double overhead out there on the takeoff.
Yeah, I think it's much bigger than it looks from the beach. As you can see, he's flying. His board looks really loose and snaps on the open face as he heads off the bottom again, twisting through that bottom turn and blowing through the lip there. Fully committed surfing from Mick Fanning and putting a lot of pressure on that closeout rebound off the foam there. And, man, he really committed to that last turn. We'll have to wait and see what the judges reward that, but my gut feeling was that it was easily enough to take over the lead, Dave.
Well, radical surfing in the most critical part of the wave. That's exactly what he did on that one. And we're still waiting to see what the judges are thinking about that last one. Quick in and out the back from Victor Ribas. There's Mr. Fanning running along the beach, going from the eastern to from the western to the eastern end of the beach, trying to get back in that rip current to have an easier paddle out the back. And scores coming in now is 7-1-7, Dino.
Well, there you go. Fully committed surfing from Mick Fanning, and the judges obviously rewarding him quite well with a 7.17. And Mick Fanning, our current heat leader, as you can see through the umbrella there, making his way back into the lineup, opting to run around and enter through the channel here, which for all you spectators online will help you and assist you back into the lineup. Over to the right, you can see on our screen here on the left-hand side, the waves are not breaking, and that's where Mick Fanning is entering the lineup. As you can see him on the left-hand bottom of the screen there, paddling through there with the low tide. he'll be able to make his way back on into the lineup a lot easier, Dave, as you know the tide's swinging so fast.
As the tide drops, yeah, that channel is about the only paddle out possibility for the competitors to make it out unmolested to the peak. Trying to paddle back out through those lefts unless you fall early on one of those is definitely a bit of an issue. As you can see, it's solid 3 to 4 foot out the back on the set, so taking those lips on the head is a little bit harder than making the relatively easy paddle through the channel back out to the side. It's a nice overview of conditions here in Bakio. As you can see, not the best, but still highly contestable. And to everyone out there, thank you very much for all your support. Plenty of people writing in, rooting on Mick and Victor Ribas, cheering for Mick and cheering for Victor Ribas. Like to just say we're sorry to a few people out there if you do think we're repeating ourselves a little bit. Well, there's people coming online all the time asking the same questions, so just kind of keeping everyone updated as people come on and offline throughout the day here at the Billabong Pro 2006, Mundaka and Bakio in the Cantabric region of Europe, just very close to the Pyrenees Mountains on the border between France and Spain. Once again, all the event has gone off at Mundaka up till now, but we do have a very westerly swell that's not managing to make it into the point at Mundaka, which is quite upsetting, Dino. I'd rather have seen things go down at Mundaka than Bakio, but it's kind of the way the cookie crumbles, I guess.
These guys are highly tuned professionals, and I think they make the best with the conditions they're served up. And I think as we head into this next round here, this is heat number 2, you're going to see a changing condition every heat, and I think fitness will actually become a part of this event as we move on through the next couple rounds. As you can see on that last, after that last wave, Mick Fanning running around and paddling back into the channel here as the waves kind of turning into more of storm surf and very tricky conditions. And as you can see, Victor Ribas.
Well, this is Mick actually once again up and riding. There's snap off the top and another one.
And Victor Ribas out the back waving at the judges, trying to find out a situation here. With 10 minutes remaining in this heat, currently in the first position in yellow, Mick Fanning carrying a 7.17 and a 5.33. And in the second position, Victor Ribas carrying a 6.40 and a 4.33, needing a 6.11 to take over the lead from current world number 5, Mick Fanning. As you can see, a beautiful shot of Tommy Whitaker there, who will be in the next heat up against
Poncho Sullivan out of Hawaii.
The power surfer, Poncho Sullivan from Sunset Beach, Hawaii. As you can see,
the devil, yeah, just walking through the back of the screen there, coming down to pick up his contest singlet.
His ears were burning.
They were. And both of these guys have just absolutely been on fire in Mundaka, Dino. Tom Whitaker completely dismantling Chris Ward in their round 3 heat. Back to the action out here. Victor, did he get a little cover up at the start of that one?
Well, there you go. There's Poncho Sullivan making his way down the beach there in red. Just, Poncho set the world on fire his rookie year here, dismantling Mick Fanning at his home break on the Gold Coast this year.
Ranbaugh in conditions very similar to these, actually.
And Poncho's, one of those type of surfers that you never know what he's going to bring to the table. I was free surfing in the bay at Mundaka the other day on somewhat average conditions, and the contest director and myself, Mike Parsons, were blown away with the amount of commitment and speed he was projecting through his turns. It was amazing. He's very, very. He just goes for it. Whenever he gets a section, he can't hold back. He just unloads.
Well, Poncho is known as, of course, as being a power surfer. Always a threat to win the world or the Triple Crown in Hawaii every year, and actually. It's said, well, in the best waves in the world, he definitely has the potential to put some pressure on the world top 45, the elite top 45 of the WCT, but had to qualify through the QS and just had some Absolute. Well, let's go back to the action here with Victor Ribas.
Ooh.
For a 6-1-1.
Wow, that's going to
Pretty
be
committed first turn there. It'll depend on what the judges thought of his second.
well. His second turn was also committed as the wave was already coming down halfway down the face, and he had to plow through the lip there. That was a really committed surfing. I think it's going to be right on the edge of the score, but I doubt he got it, Dave.
No, I kind of have to agree with you on that one. He's looking for a 6-1-1. That first turn was really good, but kind of got caught behind the section, and it was hard to put his board up onto the lip for that second kind of floater re-entry there, but that was more mistiming than actual difficulty. So a 3-6-7 on that last one. A Victor, have to say I got to agree with the judges on that one. We have 7 minutes remaining. Victor's still needing a 6-1-1, and to give you an idea, his best wave so far this heat, a 6.4 with a beautiful roundhouse cutback and a vertical off-the-lip re-entry to finish it off. So definitely the 6-1-1 is there for Victor. He's just got to go find it. With 6.5 minutes remaining, Mick Fanning in the lead, but this one far from over. Fanning possibly needing to fan that fire a little bit more and turn it up a notch, Dino.
Well, there was a nice shot of Tommy Whitaker making his way down the beach as well, and Tommy Whitaker from Bronte Beach, Australia, and another vicious competitor. And Tommy's a very he's kind of under the radar, for how good he is. He's amazing how it's amazing how good he is. He's really come into his own the last couple of years here, and I think he's in the top 16 now, and he's just a really good gentleman, and it's really good to see how well he's done. And in that last hit against Chris Ward, he just dismantled him like you had mentioned earlier. Chris started with a 7.5 and a 6.0, and Tommy didn't even have a wave halfway through the heat, and he's just he was really calm and collect, and he just waited, and then he ended up getting a 9.5 in the closing moments of that heat, and just basically putting Ward, home on a plane really quick.
Yeah, well, Wardo was firing in that heat, and then in the heat before against Nathan Hedge. And, Tom Whitaker just, really used that experience, sat out the back, waited, and it looks like he has great equipment right now, Tommy Witz. And I think equipment's definitely been coming into play. You've, seen some surfers that you would expect to do better, Dino, in the conditions we've been seeing them in, and then maybe it's just their boards that have been making a difference. But, coming up in this next one, Poncho Sullivan and Tommy Whitaker, it looks like both their equipment and their bodies have been firing on all four cylinders out in Mundaka. Let's see if they can keep it up here in Bakio. Once again, we have moved to Bakio, everyone, because the swell is too westerly to get into the window at Mundaka. There are some nice little lines there this morning, but definitely not contestable conditions. So we've moved over here to Bakio, which on its best days is a very quality beach break and plenty of contestable peaks out the back here. As we saw in Mundaka, very changing conditions with the big tidal swings. But 6-4 and a 4-3 and a 5-3-3 and a 7-1-7 in this one. Still some good wave scores to be had out in the lineup. And,
with just 4 minutes remaining, you got to think Victor Ribas needing a 6.11 is going to be feverishly searching through the lineup, trying to create an opportunity for himself here. And we are watching the best surfers in the world, the top 45 surfers here at the WCT Foster's World Tour.
And that was Victor Ribas looking for a 6-1-1, paddling for that last one. Mick is still out the back with priority. 3.5 minutes remaining. Vitinho can still do it. He needs a 6-1-1, little Victor. Plenty of support still coming in to both servers. Here's Mick Fanning trying to put those nails in the coffin, Dino.
Mick Fanning picking off a beautiful wave here, blasting that closeout section, and great committed surfing from Mick Fanning. That wave was really quite good. He got 2 turns going down the line and then closed it with that big bang closeout.
Well, it sounds like the crowd on the boardwalk appreciated that one as well. Could hear some cheers from out the back here. So Mick Fanning paddling his way back out. Looked like, he was trying to replace a 5.33 on that last one to extend his lead, and 5.33 was his first wave score for that one off the lip and kind of the speed turn off the top where he fell on the re-entry. Completed the re-entry on that one, and the judges appreciate it, an 8.5, Dino. So,
well, there you go. Just blistering surfing from Mick Fanning, current world number 5, as you can see in the replay. Big snap off the top. And I can tell you what, Mick Fanning ain't worried about the rain or the wind as he rounds about the section and just fully on rail bottom turn into this pocket here as he carves all the way around into the pocket, snapping out of it. And, you know, on the slow motion replay, you can't really see how fast he's going, but he's flying into this closeout section, just blasted off that oncoming section. And right here is very interesting. Some of the normal guys would have gave up right here, and not Mick Fanning, as he just holds on and fully completes that last maneuver there. And obviously the judges rewarding it highly with an 8.50 and putting Victor Ribas in a serious situation with only 1.5 minutes remaining. Now Victor needs a 9.27. It's safe to say,
I think Mick's moving through the quarterfinals. 8.5 wave, highest wave score of the day so far. And not that Victor doesn't have the talent to get a 9.27, but he's going to have to be the luckiest little guy in the world to find a higher quality or a wave with more potential on it than that last one for Mick Fanning. That left just opened up perfectly for him, a couple feet overhead. Got his 3 solid maneuvers in there for an 8.5. And just under 60 seconds remaining in this one. So it looks like wow is right, Dino. Mr. Fanning moving through to join up with his buddy Joel Parkinson, the 2 Cooley kids in quarterfinal number 1. And coming up, heat 3 of the round of 4. Once again, we're trying to get to the end of round 4 today, possibly into the quarterfinals, but definitely through to the end of this round 4. Coming up next, Dino, Pancho Sullivan and Tommy Whitaker.
2 seriously powerful surfers in the next heat here. And, I know that Mick Fanning and Pancho Sullivan are very close friends. And with Mick Fanning, moving through to round number 5, which will be the quarterfinals, Pancho Sullivan must be pretty inspired, and he's probably going to give it a go himself out there and try and go big and blow up. Well,